where the actual connector is that goes into the multi-pack. Yeah.
Yeah, the battery.
It's a 2032 battery, is it, or something? BIOS battery.
Yeah, it's 2032. I had to replace it here recently, but
No, this controller doesn't have one.
Are we live? Are we live on the internets?
so if you don't have that, then you get the model without it.
Yeah, well, I've got another controller that's for another hard drive setup. I think that's the one with the real-time clock. I've got to find it.
Looks like we are.
I've got about 8.
Yep, we are.
Adapters.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start the intro music here because I think we're live. And if somebody wants to share this out on Facebook to the CoCo group so they know that we're live again with this, we're going to start the introduction to CoCoTALK. And just want to warn you all in advance. This is all Ron Delvaux's fault. Which reminds me, I need to switch my camera.
I'm sharing it to the CoCo group.
All right. And am I back on? Am I back on? Why is my camera not showing up on here? Maybe I need to switch my camera over to this. I don't know. There we go. Now there's a camera. I forgot why. I'm not. My camera's different for After Dark. All right. We're here. We're live. Somebody shared this out on Facebook.
I did.
And let people on Facebook know we're going to start the intro. This is Ron Delvaux's idea. And we are going to start a much needed After Dark that has not taken place in quite some time. So here we go.
CoCoTALK After Dark. CoCoTALK After Dark.
It's Saturday night. It's dark. We still want to talk about the color computer, so we're going to do it after dark. You can thank Ron Delvaux for this, so let's get this train wreck started, shall we? All right, everybody, welcome back to a very special episode of CoCoTALK After Dark because Ron Delvaux wanted it. So
I got it, darn it.
We're here. And it's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, I don't even know how long we were on the air before. Probably pushing, well, what time is it now? It's 11:30. So we started at 8. Let me do the math. 8, 9, 10, 11. 3.5 hours, right? Mm-hmm. So we just got done spending 3.5 hours talking about the color computer and music and CoCo Fest. And, but apparently real-time clocks. But that wasn't enough. But wait, there's more. Now how much would you pay? So we're back. We're going to continue the show. We're going to continue the talking. The general idea of CoCoTALK After Dark is unlike the other show, which is very professional, very well organized, very well structured, and above bar. This one here is a little looser, little whatever. Doesn't matter what we're going to talk about. You know, so this is the fun... Beer. And beer, yes, and we're drinking beer, right? So that's important too. So, anyways, we're here. So, Ron Delvaux, take it away.
Okay. So this week I've been working with Simon, and he's been cooking away with his computer, doing all kinds of mad things, and he's sending me these files, and I try it on my one computer, and then I have to run out to my observatory where I have a couple other computers set up, and then I try this stuff out there, and I send him little videos of what he's accomplished, and sometimes they break and sometimes they work, and he thanks me profusely, and then next day I get up in the morning, turn on the computer, and there he is. Try this, man. Can you try this? Sure. So I go and try it on a couple machines. And so the result is when the big CoCo Fest comes, it's going to be a fairly semi-spectacular program that he's going to foist on us. Last time, last CoCo Fest, he did a, I think it was Tandy assembly thing on the MC10 that I played at the
yeah, I remember
Fest.
that. You downloaded that from your phone or something, didn't you?
Yeah. Hmm. That was cool.
Yeah, definitely. So that is kind of cool that Simon Jonason is going to be here this year. This is kind of like pulling a Nick Marentes, right? So they got to get PenFest 99 to PenFest 2000. They kind of crowdsourced the airfare. Everybody chipped in to fly Nick down from Australia. We are now doing that for Simon Jonason, the madman in Denmark, who's been doing all kinds of cool CoCo stuff. He's doing music stuff, graphic stuff, animation stuff. He's kind of working on a demo scene for the CoCo. And he's
an overseas sock master.
Yes, he's the sock master, the European version of sock master, right? So
right.
And this is a super nice guy, always pushing the envelope, always trying to get the CPU to do something that we didn't think it could do, and so that's going to be cool. So you're helping him test his madman stuff on real hardware.
Yeah, it's going to be action and sound.
Action and sound. Mm-hmm. Cool. Yep. Excellent. All right, well, that's the show. Good night, everybody.
Okay.
There we go.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks. We needed a whole other show for that. So.
Yep. Well, two of these guys were showing their the ends of their controllers to each other. Did you guys get it figured out who has the clock and not? Who has a chip battery and not?
I'm thinking Bryce's did not have it.
No. Sad day. Well, you'll have to rely on somebody else's clock coming up, huh?
No, actually, he could buy the parts and put it in there. It's not that hard.
Oh. Cool.
I've got one somewhere.
You know, I have this Disto controller, the mini controller.
Mm-hmm.
Did that ever have an option for a?
I think it did. You'd have to ask Curtis about that. He's more of an expert on Disto products.
Because if you say it's not that hard to add.
No, well, the thing, I'm saying on the.
Yeah, I know. Birkenberg.
Yeah, the Birkenberg was already on there.
Yeah.
And so basically all you had to do is just put the chips on it. I don't know how the Disto, how it's set up.
Okay.
If he had it as a module or just plug in a bunch of chips, who knows?
The real-time clock, I believe, went on the daughter board that was plugged into the Super Controller 2 or the hard drive controller.
You want to find the other one?
We're just going through our hardware, huh?
Yep, pretty much.
Very cool stuff. But we got a few people watching us live right now. Thomas D. Benning is here. Hello, Thomas. Mikey's watching us. Jim Gary's here. Roberta Preston says, "What are we covering tonight?" Well, we're going to cover whatever we didn't cover in the first 3.5 hours we've been doing this. So
more CoCo do.
Yes, more CoCo do. So yeah, whatever stone was left unturned will get turned.
So what do you want me to try first, Richard?
Oh, okay. So you have the original DAT board in there, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you go ahead and remove that DAT board out completely. And you're going to take that buffer board, and you're just going to put that into the CoCo 3.
With the original DAT?
Yeah, the original DAT will go on top of it.
Yep.
This is just experimental. I seriously doubt that I'm going to...
Sorry, that's Robert Preston, not Roberta Preston. Sorry, Robert. I just gave you an upgrade for a minute there. All right, Robert Preston. Sorry, Robert. This text is very small on my screen. It's kind of hard to read. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So are we doing live troubleshooting on the air right now? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah.
Live testing.
Live testing. Okay.
Jason ought to move his camera so we can see what he's doing with his fingers.
You wouldn't want to see this desk.
Is there old sandwiches on there? bologna sandwiches? Is that what you're saying?
I'm getting ready to move, so everything is like messy as hell. You know?
I was hoping to have a somewhat CoCo related thing to show off today. I ordered a new case for my phone, and it's black and green, and it's kind of a nuclear green. So I was gonna have like kind of a CoCo looking phone cover to show off, but Amazon delayed it by a day, so hopefully I'll have it tomorrow. So yeah.
Hey, I like your Star Trek chair there, Jason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool looking.
Kind of Star Trek-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it too.
Heavy System says CoCoTALK After Dark now with plumber's crack.
Well, let's see if this CoCo 3 smokes.
80% more plumber's crack, right? So
we didn't see anything, Jason. Don't let him nerve you.
You didn't see anything, right? So,
but we'll have a meme of it.
We're all talking about troubleshooting. This is the third CoCo one that I've got. You were mentioning earlier, Stevie, on the other program that you're reading out my post on Facebook about looking forward to this show, and the second CoCo there that's running the Tetris.
Yeah,
that's the one that I switched them both on, and that one wasn't doing anything. And like this is just before the show, like half an hour before it or something, or an hour before it or whatever it was. And I did a bit of troubleshooting and was looking around, poking around, tried different cables, tried changing over the cases and plugging in the CoCo VGA boards into the different panel sockets to see if that was faulty, and nothing worked. And plugged in a CRT monitor into it, and I got a black screen. And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds like a VDG chip. So fortunately, I had this one here and whipped out the 6847 and pulled the money out of that one, swapped them over, and up she came. So for some reason, the 6847 just decided it was going to die.
See.
Now, are those? Can we still get those? Are those chips available in the wild?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody posted something on Facebook this week that they had found like a whole tube of chips. I don't even know what the half those chips were, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure there were 6847s in those chips.
Oh yeah,
okay. In those chips.
Yeah, you guys are talking about what I posted. Yeah, it's a 6847 in there. There's a 6883 in there. There's a couple of CPUs, a couple of PIAs.
They were from China, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just put together a set. He's done it with several other computers, and it's a 6847, like you were saying, all those various chips. Some of them are actually pretty good to have on hand, like the SAM chip. Those are hard to get.
6821.
The 783.
Yeah, the 68.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, the 6821, actually, they are still being made by
really?
a place called Western Design.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, the peripheral interface adapters.
Yeah. There's my dead 6847 there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my CoCo 3 still works.
Okay.
So that's good.
No smoke released from it?
I'm looking for a 512K memory tester right now just to see.
Well, that'll work. The thing that you were having problems with was reading and writing to the SDC, right?
To floppy drives.
Yeah, floppy drives. So go ahead and try that.
See what happens.
Yeah, Curtis is saying if only they had gimmies, right? So we can get a VDG, but we just can't get a gimme.
All right,
give me that chip.
Give me that chip.
This is going to be like a golf game, right? Yeah, he is reaching down now. He's going to plug in this.
Yeah.
We're going to
plug in the floppy drive.
We're looking for the flash right now. Can we see a flash?
That's on it.
And the magic smoke.
There's a YouTube channel that actually has marble races, and they do exactly that. I mean, it's the most ridiculous channel I've ever seen, but I'm so addicted to it.
They talk like it's a golf tournament.
Yeah, no, it's like Olympics. I mean, they have little races and heats and they have marbles up in these made up stands and all kinds of stuff.
It's like watching curling.
Yeah, almost, but it's just addicting. You got to see it. I mean, yeah, they have the applause and actually a couple of marble groups broke out in fights and it's ridiculous.
We're having
They went to a fight and a marble group broke out.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a 5-part series on those brooms that they use for the curling.
Oh, the curling.
Now, I always joked about the small bore competition. I said they should rename it the big bore.
The yawn.
Yep.
No, this is the best episode of CoCoTALK we've ever had so far. So.
Oh, it's Jim Brain's favorite.
We got a bunch of guys hunched over machines here.
Richard, can you put that train back on the track for us?
Let me see if I can find the right button for that. No, that's not the right button. Is this the right button? Nope. Is this the right button? There we go. Train is on the station.
I am currently trying to boot up my hard drive system for the old CoCo.
Is that Tommy the train?
Yeah,
it's Thomas the Choo-Choo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how do I know that?
So far, so good.
Because they have a 34-year-old son. That's why.
He still watches Thomas the Choo-Choo?
That's correct.
Ah. Was that you, Brian?
Affirmative.
Okay, that sounded close. It was missing some of the synth pad sound to it. It was a little bright and not as paddy, but that was cool sounding.
Yeah.
Unless it was just the microphone was not picking it up as clearly.
I thought it was fleshy myself.
A little fleshy, a little organic, a little fleshy. Yeah,
I thought so.
There's a bit of there's a story behind how they achieved that sound.
Is that any better?
That's a little too fleshy for me.
I thought this was After Dark.
Always gets a little loony.
You may have to bring the dumpster back.
Yes. Yeah, the one that's streaming.
Yes. Well, we missed Mark Overholzer tonight. He never made it.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, we didn't miss him.
That's different.
I got my CoCo cat with me, so all is good.
Jim Brain's on here?
Jim Brain's been silently silent. So.
I've been silently mocking all of you.
You sound like you're underwater.
Sorry, am I sounding horrible? I tested my microphone.
Yeah.
It's a little scratchy.
It sounds good. Okay.
Sounds better now.
Good.
Might just need to get that real-time clock in sync. So.
Yeah, for something that hadn't had any surface of interest for 20 years, and now all of a sudden
we got 4 designs going out.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, Nick Marentes, he's this. When he speaks, people react. So
that's right. D.F. Hutton.
When Nick says we need a real-time clock, the greatest minds get together to make it happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Agent of change.
Yeah, and not only that, but Richard Lorbieski made one too. So
I know. You say that like all the designers made one, and Richard made one too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, John Strong's working on one.
Yeah.
So which category should I put him in?
Strong box.
Strong box. His has a blinky light. He's got a 2-phase LED on it.
Do you have to count to tell the time? You have to count the blinks.
Yes.
Binary.
And Mikey says he's an agent of doom. That Nick Marentes. Oh, he did mention he was going to have to go to a birthday party or something today, right? I think he said that early on. He might not.
David Ladd's birthday party.
David Ladd, yeah, he's got a long way to go,
and a short time to get there.
Yeah, and he's in the future, so David's birthday was in the past. So how he's going to work that out, I'm not exactly sure. Yes, yeah. Real Systems is saying if we have a real time clock, does that imply there's a fake time clock? Like, is it always wrong? Well, what's the old saying? Even a broken clock is correct twice a day.
That's right.
The demo clock.
Well, the fake time clock is the one that was built in OS 9.
Right.
No, I think the fake time clock is that new product that Richard's been working on.
Yeah.
Well, there's another. David Ladd showed me a circuit board design that he threw together that goes into the ROM socket with a crystal clock thing on there too. So David's actually designed a clock.
Actually, that's the one me and David are working on.
Okay, yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's what the real time clock. That's what I wanted to do is the dual serial card that I'm doing is it's going to fit into the modem pack. You're going to take the old modem pack board out, put this one in, or you can get your own case. No matter.
Okay.
But it'll also have a ROM socket because David was like, hey, you could use like ADOS and you can hook this up to a CoCo 1 or 2 without an SDC or a multi-pack or anything like that. Use DriveWire.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, I've always wanted a real-time clock. How hard would it be to just incorporate that into the ROM socket? And that's how this all came about.
Okay.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so theoretically, if it works, it is possible that this could work inside a CoCo 1, 2, or 3.
It's going in line with a ROM chip.
Yep.
And it's still compatible with ADOS.
Yes.
Which ROM would it go on?
Any of them.
Oh.
Can you access that from like on a CoCo 1 or 2 or whatever from a poke statement?
You can access it. You can. A peak statement. You'd access it from a bunch of peak statements.
Would it work with the temple of ROM?
Maybe.
How do you set it? Could it be set with poke statements, or is it?
Well, the way the Phantom clock works, it's kind of a tricky. Well, it's an unconventional way, but it sends out a signal, and the real-time clock listens for that particular key sequence. And once it listens to it, then there's another burst of data that goes with it that says, I want you to read this, or I want you to write this. And it says if it's a read, it sends back the data saying, okay, here, basically if you're saying a read, it's basically what time is it? And it'll tell you. You can't just individually say, I want to know what day it is, or I want to know what the exact time is, or the seconds. It sends everything to you. And then from there, your program would then just decipher it. Or it updates its own internal real-time clock module or OS.
So to actually set the time in the first place, what do you do there? Is it
right? Yeah, when you turn it on initially, you set the time, and it has a battery backup too. So when you turn the machine off and turn it back on, the time is there.
Okay, right.
Nice.
Now from time to time, you're gonna, no pun intended, you're gonna have to check it, make sure that it's accurate, because it may lose a couple of seconds, within a month or two or something like that.
Could
It's
I have,
basically.
could I have my time clocks? Could I have my clock module say hump day for Wednesday?
No, I mean,
Well,
honest-
that's in your calendar software at that point. Right?
yeah, yeah. The real time clocks for the ROM based ones are just a very simple. It's basically a glorified wristwatch. All you're doing is saying what time is it, or you just set the time, and that's it.
What about the date and year?
Yeah, date and year as well. And like I was saying, when you ask for the time, it gives you everything. It gives you the date, the time, and it also calculates the Dallas Semiconductors ones will calculate leap year up to the year 2100.
No, my particular clock, the way it shows it is just the year without the 20 or the 19 or whatever.
Yeah, it's
is it a
two-digit?
dumb clock or
no,
it's
it's
all
actually
it's
yeah,
what?
they're all like that. It's only a 2-bit or a 2-digit.
So it's like the whole Y2K thing all over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
Yeah. So, but like 2100, these clocks will be worthless, or they'll be obsolete. But by that time, I'll be dead, and I really
Well,
don't.
that's 80 years from now. So
Yeah.
I remember back in the 80s when I was working for a place where we were punching things into a terminal, and it was probably, I don't know if it was a DEC terminal or something, but we were doing work on I don't know if it was a mainframe system or whatever. But one of the guys back then was saying, in just 12 years or whenever it is, that this system is not going to be any good, because he was kind of predicting Y2K way back then in the 80s, So it was like 88. So yeah, so it's like, yeah, in 12 years, we're going to have a problem, because when we get to the year 2000, how are we going to know what year it is? And I'm thinking, dude, 12 years is a long time from now. Who's still going to be using an old mainframe 12 years from now? But, needless to say.
Same thing with the software. A lot of people
Yeah.
no one's going to be using this stuff. And of course, they're still using it. Here it was 1999. And oh my God, we're still using this garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember them saying that there was going to be planes falling out of the sky, and going to be, trains crashing into each other, and cities on fire, and all sorts of stuff like that. It
Take all your money out of the bank.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, what's that behind you? It looks like a robot with its arms up in your window.
Oh, that's a portable air conditioner.
Oh.
So.
A robot with its arms up. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing.
A 2-tube one.
Yeah. Now, when is the Mayan prophecy going to happen? That's coming up, right? The 2012 thing?
It passed.
Already passed. That was 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we missed Y2K and we missed 2012.
Yeah. December 21st, 2012, they were saying.
Something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I have to set my real-time clock to get ready for that one. So
there was also another one that was a bug. It was in the credit card software. It was September 9th of 99, I believe.
9999, huh?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Mikey's saying that old Unix machines are going to have a time wrap in 2038.
Yep.
No, that's a little bit closer to home.
That's all server stuff would be affected by that, would it?
But we're still talking 18 years from now. So if an old Unix machine is still running 18 years from now, what are you going to do? Old Unix machines.
Well, OS 9
And
still doing
some of them
right.
actually.
I heard two people at once now. I heard somebody say Mark was talking about OS 9.
Yeah, OS 9 is still still running traffic lights.
Yeah. And James, were you saying something?
Yeah, Unix doesn't actually use date and time. It's I can't remember exactly what it is.
Seconds from the epoch.
ticks or something. Seconds from the epoch, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the value that will overflow in 2038 is seconds from the epoch, which is January 1st, 1970.
Yep. So basically, they just tried the software to interpret it different.
When I was a kid, I had the epochs.
5 minutes or 30 minutes.
Was that called smallpox back then, Ron? Or what's it?
No, chicken epochs.
Chicken epoch.
I had to eat chicken. My mom says, "You eat this chicken, you'll feel better." Okay, Mom.
Isn't that what gave you the chicken pox in the first place?
Could be.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't Tristos for the Model 3-4 have a hard stop? You couldn't put a date past in certain date.
Yeah. Was it 1989 or 90 or something?
Yeah, I don't remember.
So I always fire mine up and have to put, it's 1986 again.
Yeah, but isn't there a year? I forgot what year it was. It was like, so isn't like 1972 the year? I remember saying this, like, listen, if you have a device that's not Y2K compliant, just set the year to like 1972, and it'll work out just right. I forgot exactly how that was supposed to work. So
it has to do with the date and the day being the same.
Yeah, the date, yeah. So
The
supposedly
months and day and year. Worked out.
So
it'll have the wrong year, but all the months.
Yeah, everything will kind of play out exactly the same. These are the hard-hitting questions and problems that we have to deal with here on CoCoTALK After Dark. So
I bet you Google could tell you that.
Yeah, right. Ask Siri.
I don't know Siri very well.
No. So Ron, is your snow scare done?
We don't have none.
No
Zero.
more snow in Arizona?
Nope. Today I drained the pool, and earlier at the end of the show when I had to leave, it was the pump was in the bottom, and we have a gigantic pool. It's 33,000 gallons. It's huge.
Wow.
So the pump was sucking air. I had to pull it out, and then we have like a little feature thing, and that still had water in it, so we had to suck it out of that one. So now it's all sucked out. Tomorrow we got a guy coming to acid wash it.
Wow.
So then it's going to take 8 days to fill it.
Wow.
Wow.
Little tiny hose this big.
33,000 gallons of water. What's
I
that
can
water
imagine
bill?
your
gonna be
water
like?
bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Big size.
we're gonna, after we fill the pool, we're gonna call and say, yeah, our meter's going wacky, man. Listen, there's a magnet on our meter. Someone put a magnet on our meter.
What you got to do is just pray for a lot of rain.
Yeah.
The evaporation alone on that would be more the usage in water, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's a broken CoCo 3.
Oops.
That looks like a directory of OS9.
Yeah, it looks like an OS9
right?
directory on RS-DOS.
If you have weird directories, try changing your processor.
Yeah, it's not that.
A 6309 sometimes will break, and you get wacky directories.
So that's without the buffer board that Richard sent me. So it looks like my FD502 died as well. So this was with the Ian Maverick's controller.
Okay,
So,
but this is with the buffer in it or without it?
Without.
Okay,
So I took the buffer back out because I couldn't even get a disk to initialize. And that appears to be my controller has now failed. So I tried my other controller, and it's back to where it was. So now I'm going to put the buffer back in. It happens.
What processor's in there?
6309.
Put a 6809 in there and try it.
I've done that, but not with the DAP board.
Because I had troubles with a 6309. It would have corrupted directories. I put the 6809 back in. It was perfect. That particular chip broke.
Wow. I never heard of a single chip having a single problem like that, just on directories.
Is this the chip I sent you, or is this a different?
No, this was earlier last year.
Okay.
Well, I was working with Paul Barton on it at the time, and that's what happened. So if you try a different processor, see what happens.
Well, I'll get to that.
You got one laying around for that, Jason?
I have a few.
You can pull it out of that dragon.
It might be socketed.
Yeah.
Are there any other known issues with incompatibilities with the 6809? Sorry, 6309s?
It has to. There's a bug in this Curtis more explain about it, but it had to do something with the halt command or something like that. I can't remember.
Halt and catch fire.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of 6309s coming. Ed's sending a couple with the mega minis. So to run his tracker, it needs the 6309. So I'm going to swap out the 6309s.
Curtis is asking a CPU question too. He goes, "It's the NMI line that gets fried. It will screw up your reading and writing of your disk, but works otherwise." So the NMI line on a CPU can get fried.
Non-maskable interrupt.
Non-maskable interrupt. Okay.
Yep, that's what happened to mine.
So it could be a CPU. That's interesting. I never heard of that.
Did you just read what Curtis put up?
Yeah.
Down the bottom corner here.
But for the most part, a 6309 should be highly compatible with the 6809 though, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lower power part, so I suppose it would be more sensitive to I don't know, power glitches on a individual line.
Or static, maybe?
Yeah.
Is it a 6309 CMOS?
What's
Is
that?
it CMOS? Yeah, it is CMOS based, right?
It's static too.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to see what it's like with the buffer board in place?
Mm-hmm.
It is perfectly fine.
Okay.
Same CPU?
Yep.
Okay, and that's the original DAT board, right?
Yep, that's the original DAT board with your buffer board.
Okay, now go ahead and take the buffer board out and your CPU DAT board and put the new DAT board in.
Okay.
You're just torturing him is what you're doing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Seeing how many pins you can bend on the ICs.
He had to go through this to come up with it, so he's going to make you go through it to fix it.
Okay, everything's unplugged. Always make sure you unplug your computer before you pull the CPU out.
Yeah, that'd be a good
usually a good idea.
Words to live by.
Safety tip.
Yeah, the white CoCo one I had, somebody put the power on with the joystick in with the power on and fried one of the PIAs.
Really? I thought they were supposed to be able to handle that.
Nope. I had it happen to my original CoCo, and I picked up that white CoCo one cheap because it wasn't working, and I swapped the chip and it worked.
Wow.
Did I hear that correct? You're saying plugging the joystick?
Yep.
It?
Yeah, you want to plug in joysticks.
While it's on.
I've never ever turned off. I've always plugged them and unplugged them with the CoCo's running.
Me too.
Wow.
Taking joysticks out with it on.
Yeah. I do it all the time.
And I used a multi-pack interface that wasn't fixed on my CoCo 3 for 20 years.
Well, there's only certain things that don't work.
I never experienced it.
So I'm going to run a full INI and write cycle again, but this is how it is, just booting with the new DAT board. The DIR works fine. So let me do the whole write process again.
Matter of fact, sold that white CoCo to John Linville.
So we're doing live computer trial and error stuff here, right?
Yeah.
We got some wows flying across the screen here on Facebook, so we wowed somebody. Thank you for the wow.
Remote diagnostics.
Computer mod do this?
Good thing, 'cause I'm about ready to fall asleep.
Hey, Brian, what kind of stuff you got behind you over there? Just stocked stuff, or do you have computers set up, or what? Behind you, Brian.
Radio equipment.
Oh, okay.
And a bunch of stuff. Some computer, some radio, a bunch of junk from about 25 years worth of stuff.
Are you in your basement?
Oh, yeah. It's
Oh,
my
okay.
dungeon, my mad scientist room.
So that worked too.
So it works.
Yay.
Now I'm going to plug it into Mega Mini MPI and see if it still works.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
What is going on Retro Innovations picture?
I don't see anything. It's dark.
It's like, is that a moon or something?
Is this our intermission music?
Yes.
I thought it was my intro music. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no, that's
No, it'd be more like that.
CoCoTALK After Dark. CoCoTALK After Dark.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah. It's
Love
like a
that busy
fungus.
season.
It's like a fungus.
CoCo repairs After Dark.
So James, how awesome is my picture?
Coco
That
nuts.
is just completely black.
It's black.
I was thinking the little white spot I'm seeing on the top right of Tony's was part of it, but
No.
No. He's incognito.
I am. I'm
Yeah.
incognito. Because I'm
He does want to show his 256 color mode with the RTC clock.
no. I'm gonna have to mute here a minute so I can flush.
That's all, folks.
Brian, your radio equipment, is it HF or?
HF, VHF. I got a little bit of everything, including some SDRs.
You ever do any radio astronomy?
I'd have to pull the my microwave antenna from off the roof to do that.
But you could, huh?
Oh yeah, they left the receiver horn and everything on the receiver antenna because I didn't want to go up there during winter to pull it down. It says, okay, don't worry about it. So it's still up there, still connected. I could hook it up to a receiver and power it up and still receive satellite.
Does it sound fleshy at all?
There's this guy I know, and his name is
I'm not
Scott.
going to dignify that with an answer.
What is his name?
I could describe half these shows.
Yeah, don't worry. Stevie doesn't have any dignity anyway.
I won't
Sure he
dignify
does.
it.
He just got it hidden away.
Probably in his butt banger.
There it is.
Oh.
Magic
Say
word.
that now.
That's what we need. We need a magic word.
A magic word, huh? Like a safe
Yeah,
word?
sort of like in Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Oh, like the word of the day, or if you
Yeah,
say
secret
that, yeah.
word, yeah.
The secret word, yeah.
And the secret word is butt banger.
We need David Ladd.
Phrase.
Hey, Brian, there's a guy named Scott Carter who has a dish, and he's doing amateur radio astronomy on it. And he is writing software to do charts and stuff, where he tries to scan the sky and look at the different sources of radio signals. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've seen some of the things out there on that that you can do with using an old dish and that. But you need to have good steady hands if you're holding it, or a good tripod with a good motor on it, so you can keep track.
What about those old 8-foot dishes like we used to have before DirecTV?
Yeah, I had one of those. And you know what I did? I hooked up a well, I probably told this story before, but I don't think some of you weren't here. What I did was I hooked a Radio Shack color computer joystick to my antenna with a long stick. I mounted it so the see, I couldn't see my dish from the basement where I was. I could barely see it. So what I did was I ran wire out there, hooked it up to my one of my joystick ports, and hooked it up onto the antenna. So when the antenna went back and forth, it would move the joystick. And so I read the joystick to find out where the antenna was pointing. Because if the antenna went too far, it would lock up. And I'd have to go outside, push the antenna, and move it a little bit so it would track again, or, move again. So I made a program so that it would graphically show, east to west, and it would track back and forth. And it worked great. And I used it for, months until I cut the wire with the lawnmower. When I cut it, it wrapped around the lawnmower blade because I didn't bury it far enough or something. But that was an interesting thing to do. Made it so I could monitor where the dish was pointed.
It sounds almost as interesting as a guy who had some project going with the wood burning stove in his CoCo or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a little
red green.
That's a little project I've been working on in my spare time. It's at the front. There's a DDS transmitter and then a Class A HF amp. Just a little experimental loop antenna that will work between 200 kilohertz and 30 megahertz. I've just been doing a few experiments with it.
Can you cook a weenie on it?
Yeah. It actually needs a bit of heat if it gets too hot. The amp at the moment. I'm actually using it on my latest album. I wanted to. There's a track that starts off with the Apollo 8 moon mission, where they were reading Genesis from space.
Yeah.
And I've got some other voiceover stuff in the track, and I was trying to emulate the sound of that. So I've used that transmitter through my granddad's old Radiola 1949 12 radio that I've been restoring on 19 megahertz band, and stuck a microphone in front of that and added a few little beeps and whatnot, and it sounds almost exactly the same.
Yeah, cool.
Hey, how are we able to still hear satellite signals like the Voyager satellite that's like left our solar system? How are we still able to hear those radio?
I could tell you why. It has a 3-watt radio system, and it's powered by a RTG, radioactive thermal nuclear generator on it, which is going to be good for quite a few years yet. It's weak now, but it still works, and it sends a signal. And I think it takes about 3 or 4 days for it to reply back and forth, because it's so freaking far out there.
It takes 24 hours for it to reach, and then 24 hours to respond. But they have to. It's not a single antenna that has to listen. They actually has to be an antenna array that has to be lined up in order for it to listen for the signal.
Yeah, it's that
weak. It's so weak.
Well, just think of 3 watts or whatever it is, or less than that, all the way out there. out of the solar system.
Yeah. It makes me wonder. Like, we've been monitoring these Voyager probes since the 70s, and we're still. There was a really cool documentary about it. Maybe it was on Netflix or something. And they were getting back images from the Jupiter and the moons of Jupiter. And I'm just thinking, how the hell are we doing this? This is something that we launched in the 70s. How is it sending back information and pictures to Earth? How the hell is it doing that?
Well, it's not doing it now. It only did it when on its way out there.
Yeah.
They did the last major picture they caught was a picture of Earth.
That was in '94.
Yeah, I think so.
It was like a pinpoint.
It was,
It's like a pixel.
Well, they did get. Was it Voyager that got pictures of Pluto?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Voyager, the last one they got was a picture back of Earth, and it's just a speck.
I shared my home with one of the NASA physicists who designed the heat shield for the Voyager space probes a few years ago, about a decade ago or so. And, we spent quite a lot of time talking about how all the tests they did and whatnot, and talking about quantum physics and all sorts of other crazy stuff. It was fascinating.
Yeah, the pale blue dot is a photograph of planet Earth taken on February 14th, 1990 by Voyager 1 from a record distance of about 6 billion kilometers, 3.7 billion miles.
I think it's studying solar winds now.
Yeah, it's doing solar winds and it's doing radiation, and that's about it.
How is it able to send the picture back? What format was it sending photographic information back to Earth in?
It's basically like a raster type of image. I don't know what
it's Bluetooth.
It's a GIF.
It's sending back animated GIFs, huh?
Yeah.
So Richard, it seems to be working pretty well. That's my FD502. I cleaned its pins and it came back up again, and then that's plugged into the MPI.
Mega Mini.
Yep, and everything seems to be working.
Rick, look at his desk.
So yeah, look at the mess.
So it's all working with that new board then, without the buffer.
What was that?
What combination is failing?
The combination was basically the original DAP board, and then any floppy controller plugged in directly or into the Mega Mini MPI. And there seemed to be even more issues when they were plugged into the Mega Mini, and those seem to have went away now as well.
Yeah, the major thing that I did was I eliminated the buffering of the reset line. It is now just directly connected to the CPU.
Yeah, but
originally I had it buffered.
Reset line's only triggered when you do a reset. So
yeah, but somehow it's just once I did that, all these problems I had just like disappeared. And I'm just like, okay.
So does that mean just
I wonder if
so
the
clear on
CPU
this?
wasn't being reset well enough or for long enough
Yeah.
to do a proper reset.
It possibly could be that.
Are you saying that the buffer board isn't needed, or is it needed? I wasn't sure where we ended up.
The buffer board fixed the original DAP board. The new DAP board doesn't need it.
Oh, really? Okay, so the reset line is the only thing that was different between the new and the old. I wondered because I have CoCo Mim Jr. It has 3 of the address lines are sent out to the bus, and it uses a CPLD. I think like the DAP board uses a CPLD, and so I wanted to know if I have to add a buffer onto CoCo Mim Jr. or not. Sounds like just reset line issues is what I have to worry about.
Yeah, I think that was the whole thing, and I kept the reset the power monitor supervisor on there, So when you turn it off, it's like a redundant reset.
It's the buffer backflow on the 889 with a hook into the power differential system.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's the flux capacitor.
I don't know.
No, it's the differential girdle spring.
yeah.
Transfibulator or whatever.
Yeah, that's the Rockwell automation.
Yeah.
The watchdog was barking.
So I can talk like you guys.
Couldn't you just compensate all that with the CoCo Faraday cage?
Turbofantibulator.
Well, technically, isn't it a Faraday cage that's around the transformer right now?
It seems like it, like a little metal freaking grid, right?
So Model 1 CoCo's had that big cage thing.
Yeah, the problem with that reset when it was buffered, the other problems that happened was when you turned on, especially in the 86 gimme, the three amigos would sometimes pop up.
I would see just corrupted video.
Or corrupted video, garbage. I did all kinds of unpredictable stuff.
Yeah, mine was doing corrupted video, especially with the Mega Mini.
Yeah.
Mega Mini just seemed to set it off.
Yep. And yeah, so like I said, that was the, when Ed Snyder put in the buffer board, he said everything seemed to be solved. And more I thought about it, I was like, this doesn't make sense because his board is buffered. The CoCo 3 is buffered. The DAT board is buffered. And I said, that just can't be right. So I said, adding an extra buffer on top of all these buffers is just...
You need to buffer the buffers.
Yeah, I said, this is kind of insane.
You were creating a delay on the reset of something there.
Yeah.
Sounds like that reset was just too short.
Yeah. So just taking out that reset completely has solved, and I've tested this with other people. But the buffer board was basically a kind of like a stopgap. If in case this reset thing did not fix anybody's problem, then the buffer board would be the thing to kick in.
Cool.
Without having to redesign the whole entire stupid DAT board again. So,
which revision is this now?
This is the third revision.
Third time is a charm. This is the final one.
Well, the first one that was released was the second revision.
My next hardware project that I'm working on at the moment actually is an instant reboot button that basically disconnects the power supply lines after the filter capacitors so that the chips can reset instantly, and then has a timer running off the power supply that'll switch it back on, say 250 milliseconds after it's after you press the button, to give it a cold boot but instantly.
But yeah, Jason just test it out as long, whatever, and I'm pretty confident that this is the fix.
I'm gonna play with it some more.
Okay.
See how it goes, but yeah, I think it's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
it hasn't corrupted video or anything either, and I've turned it off multiple times, so I think it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, the memory test should work rock solid anyway. I've not had any problems with the memory at all.
Do you guys know of a 2 meg memory test program?
Yeah. Didn't you get it? It's called stress12.dsk. You don't
Is
have
it on
that?
the SDC?
Yes. In the utility section.
Stress.
Utility directory.
I don't know if everybody has that original SDC image though, so not everybody might have the utility directory.
Okay, let me look for.
I know we've mentioned this has been on the archive in the past though too. I don't know where it is on the archive.
It's not in the archive.
No. Oh, okay.
No. But what I'll
I
do,
have under
Jason,
utils. I'm looking to see what I have under utils right now.
Okay, but go into if you go into Discord, I'll send you the file. Let me dig it.
Is it on the Boyce on Tech site by any chance? Or?
No. It's on GitHub, but it has to be compiled because
that's how GitHub rolls, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's a open source project, but it's free to distribute. But it has to be compiled.
Oh,
Getting
stress
a
one
little
too.
bit of
There it is.
sound loop right there.
Oh, you got it?
Find it?
Okay.
Looks like it.
There's two programs. One's basic BAS, and the other one is the bin program. The BAS just explains everything.
Yeah, I just ran the bin program. It detected 2 meg, and it is doing stuff.
Yeah, it'll go through all of its.
It makes pretty colors.
Makes pretty colors, and it'll count.
Let's do it, everybody.
How many megabytes?
Oh, Curtis Boss saying if you get 2 megabytes working, you can play the entire CoCoTALK theme in Nitrous 9.
That's right.
Ease of use beta 4. He uses pretty much all the 2 megs of that.
There we go.
Yeah, and the screen will change up a little bit. But if it'll take about 24 hours to run a gigabyte. And if it runs more than a gigabyte without errors, you're fine.
Cool.
So it's kind of
Thanks
like
so
a
much.
burn-in. This is kind of like a burn-in test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a stress. I mean, it'll put a lot of stress on your CoCo, especially the memory. If you have like the DRAM, it'll burn it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Point a fan at it, in other words.
Yeah, but like the Triad and this one, the Boomerang uses SRAM, which runs a lot cooler. So don't have to even worry about it.
Yeah, I just ordered the Boomerang 2 meg.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I just got notified there was an order, so I haven't looked at it. So cool, thank you. I'll ship it out next 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
No, it'll go out Monday. Actually, it might go out tomorrow, but probably Monday.
I still have the Disto 2 meg, but that gets a little bit toasty.
Yeah.
That's a wiener roaster there, huh?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so you already have the socketed. You already have it socketed, so this should take like 2 minutes to put in.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a huge difference, believe me.
Man, it's getting to be past my bedtime, guys.
I used to have a.
I'm gonna take off as well.
Yeah.
So, bye guys, and thanks
Hey,
again,
bye.
Richard.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be hanging off also.
Yeah. We're fading now. We're dropping. Us old guys.
This is it.
Yeah.
Oh, you bunch of.
Yo, wankers.
Yeah. In my moment of triumph here.
Yes. Richard Orbieski fixes a CoCo 3.
I took a risk. I mean, putting a product that I haven't. Well, testing it live. I mean, I just sent it to him.
Ah. Oh, there.
But it has. But I've been extensively testing it, so I will go ahead and make procedures on everybody who has the older DAT boards can send them in, and we can do a replacement.
Would you do this retro innovations?
No. He doesn't get anything. But yeah, originally when I had problems with it, I sent out boards, but I had some people take the old boards, give them to some of their buddies, and they were using them, and then they had trouble with them, and they were saying, "Hey, I'm having trouble with this board," and they were expecting me to like warranty it. The old board. I was like, no.
Especially if you didn't buy it.
Yeah, none of you didn't buy it.
They did that. They gave it to a person, and another person, and the person emailed you and said, "Hey, this board's not working. I want it fixed."
Yeah, they were trying to. Yeah, what can I do to fix this? I'm just like,
buy one.
Yeah. So now it's you're going to send your boards in, and I will replace them.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was really ticked off about that.
So now you have digital serial numbers?
I don't can afford anything like that.
Say, yeah.
It's not like I'm selling thousands of these.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get a Mercedes or a Lamborghini soon?
No Ferraris for
No Ferraris.
Ah. You don't have pop star pilot money here.
No.
No. What's your estimated count on boomerang boards that have sold now?
135. Which is a lot more than I was expecting, about 75 to 100.
I've still got to order one yet.
No.
Well, I've now got a CoCo 3 on the way, so I might be in for 1 too soon.
Yeah, I shipped to Australia, so.
Awesome.
I
International.
have shipped one to Israel, to South America. It wasn't Venezuela, it was Colombia. Shipped one to Colombia, several to Australia, several to Canada, a couple to France, Germany, England.
You're in America, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, but the way you talk about Canada, it's like it's so far away. Oh yeah, we've even shipped to Canada.
Well, it's still considered international. When it goes across the border, yeah.
Oh, that international to me is when you're on like Australia. We're in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by water.
Oh yeah. Oh, I understand, but you know, when I have to do the postal thing, I have to fill out the custom forms and all that, and I have to check it in like if I was shipping it to Australia.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's weird how they're right next door to each other. It's like, oh wait, you've got this little Canada versus America thing there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've got to keep that alive somehow.
Yeah. No, it has to go through customs, and there's declarations. The worst one is the United Kingdom, is because they charge VAT taxes.
Oh yeah, they do.
And so, you know, I tell the customers, I'm sorry, I don't pay the VAT taxes. You have to pay them. You know, and they want me to do all kinds of. You know, I said no. I'm gonna be upfront and honest about it. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, let's see.
So, Breezy, you have to have that fan on? Is it warm there?
Yeah, it's about, it must be about 38, 39.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is about what? 95, roughly around there, Fahrenheit, or what it used to over there?
I think it's over 100 Fahrenheit, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Could be over 100. I don't know. I know it's around that mark, 95.
I know over here, in a couple of weeks ago, we had the highest temperature ever recorded in Adelaide was 47.7 degrees Celsius, which was just under 120 Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Yeah, we've had that. That's no big deal. 122 here we had.
Yeah, wow.
Arizona said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah. Yeah, you could on the dashboard of your car, when the window's up, if you can stand it, you can cook things. Yeah. Even at that, even at your temperature, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Fry eggs on the hood of your car.
Yeah, anywhere. On the sidewalk, in the street, anywhere.
In Adelaide here, we have some of the most expensive electricity in the world too. So I put in solar panels on the roof to become self-sufficient, so I could run the air conditioner flat out on these hot days and get no power bills. So,
well, that's good. How many did you have to put? Quite a few up there.
I've got 20 panels on the roof at the moment, which is 5.2 kilowatts, a 5 kilowatt inverter, and then battery backup system, and 3 inverter chargers, which I use as interruptible power supplies, and filters for the home and the studio. So I can basically, if the grid goes down and there's no sun or whatever, the house will keep running on batteries. So, but yeah, the electricity price is like 45 cents per kilowatt hour here, which is just ridiculous.
Wow.
No nuclear power over there?
No. The stupid thing is, we've got the greatest uranium reserves in outback South Australia, some of the greatest uranium reserves in the world, and we export it to everybody else and we don't use it ourselves.
It's the same.
So how is your electric made by burning coal or something, or what?
It has been coal, but there's been big, whole kick against coal. So everyone's trying to push renewables, and we've got the first really big, the biggest Tesla battery they installed here in South Australia for a test, and it failed. The day we had our great big, 47.7 degree day or whatever, the Tesla battery contributed about 5% of the grid and then went flat.
15 minutes it failed on you, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't supply more than 100 houses before it booted off, and they couldn't start the stupid thing. So, but we've got the supply of coal. We've got the biggest uranium. We don't have any nuclear generation of power. They're shutting down all our coal generation power factories. Well, when they go on to renewables, and yours is a prime example, David.
We've got
the savior, and it failed.
Do you guys get brownouts?
Plenty.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I put the batteries in too.
Rolling blackouts always in South Australia now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other problem is you guys don't have major rivers where you can do hydropower.
Oh, there is one in New South Wales. They call it the Hydro 2.0 crap. They're going to do something to it. But what they're doing is that they're going to pump water uphill to generate electricity. So they're going to lose about X amount of percentage of power just to channel the water back, going up.
Typical government bureaucracy.
Who's your civil engineer there? Elmer Fudd?
They're not very civil.
Not an Australian, that's for sure, because I don't think.
We're going hunting for webbits.
Probably the same people that designed the MC-10.
Well, I just did the math on my electric bill. 8.5 cents a kilowatt hour.
Oh wow.
0.084.
Wow.
We're ripped off.
Wow.
Yeah, big. 45 cents a kilowatt hour here. That's crazy.
We're 30, I think, 30 something a kilowatt here in New South Wales. I think we are.
Yeah, its average is around 36. I think is the average.
Why don't you figure out some type of spring mechanism you could put on the kangaroos where every time they hop, it's generating some energy for you guys. So.
Well, there's plenty of them.
That's not a bad idea.
Harness the power of the kangaroo.
They're tough beasts, those kangaroos, too. You get a big red out in the middle of nowhere and you hit one of them at speed and your car's a complete write-off and they'll hop off.
Yeah. What is it, 7 foot tall? Something you can get to?
Yep.
You laugh at pumping the water uphill to make electricity. Canada has such a plant in the Niagara Falls area.
Our electric is 11.29 cents per kilowatt hour. Is it cents? Is that how they do it?
No, it's dollars.
Yeah.
11.29. They got cents. 11.29 with the cents.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we should just tap into yours with an illegal cable all the way to the States. Tap into your electric grid. We'll be happy.
Now you're talking. Now, my solar is already up. It's been in for 2.5 years now, and it paid for itself within 2 years. So,
what was that?
So my solar install.
Oh, yeah, we've got solar on the roof here. It's cut our bill to about half.
Yep.
Which is what we were after anyway. We weren't looking at being 100% self-sufficient. As long as it cut half the bill out, we were going to be happy.
Wow, that's pretty good. And the funny thing is down here, our major power is called FPL, Florida Power and Light. They, as soon as a lot of people started putting in solar, they were trying to lobby to get everybody to pay more money to make up for what they were losing in power. And in a way, they have all these things that you vote on. The wording is so backwards that you don't even know what you're voting for, and all these amendments and crap, But it was basically saying, listen, we're losing profits. We don't like losing money because you're switching to solar, so we want to make it to where everybody's got to pay more to to compensate us for our losses. And
that's what our electric company's done here. They've done exactly. They jacked the prices up to cover all the loss from the solar.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that are telling people to go out and get solar because they've got their hands in the cookie jar when it comes to solar.
Yeah.
And then they go out there and then they jack the prices up for electricity because everyone's going, oh yeah, we'll do solar. But then everyone's going, oh yeah, we'll do solar, wind farms, we'll do all this crap. Oh,
and it's against the law to be off the grid. You cannot be off the grid in the United States. You cannot be without some type of municipal power. It is illegal.
Really?
However, if you don't pay your electric bill, they will cut you off. So it's okay for them to take you off the grid, but you can't take yourself off the grid. So
what you do is you just pay your bill and then just have the solar panels on the roof and say, well,
there you go. You cut me off. Hey, listen, I'm not breaking the law.
There's also, it's in Florida, but it's also in Texas. If you have your solar panels in and you have to hook up into the municipal grid.
Yeah, because they want to siphon off any reserves you have.
Right. And the other thing is, let's say you have a blackout in your area. Guess what? You have to turn off your solar power. It automatically gets shut down. So if you get blacked up, the battery, the solar batteries don't kick in. You're off.
That's the same situation we've got here. Australian law says that the inverter has to switch off if there's a power failure. So if they're working on the lines, there's nothing fed back into it. But that's why I did the UPSs with the big batteries. So if the inverter goes down, the batteries will take over and run everything. It's
insane.
And it paid off. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. It's just government bureaucracy.
Yeah. Well, usually they say the thing about solar is that, at least, and maybe it's just in the States, is that the amount of money you spend to get the technology installed, it would take like 20 years to pay for itself. Where the savings that we have here, at least stateside, is not that much. So it's really more about environmental. People are doing it for more environmental reasons, not for financial reasons, because you just don't seem to save the money from what it costs to get solar panels put in versus the amount of energy they generate or the amount of savings you get from their energy. So
it's a little different here in Arizona because we have many clear days with, solar use is high.
Yeah.
Yeah, months and months.
Yeah, but the other problem with solar is it takes a lot of unique or hard to find material or minerals and stuff to make solar panels. So it's kind of your carbon footprint is you're still.
Okay. Have you seen that they have, the clay roofs like we have? Mm-hmm. Humped. They're 11 pounds per piece that's on your roof. Well, they've designed new ones that generate electricity.
Right.
So it doesn't even look like you have solar panels. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
They're designing those for roads now as well. They can build roads out of material that generates electricity.
Yeah, they've tried that. Actually, it's a huge failure.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they put a test bed out, and then the same company also did a square, and it kept breaking down because the thing is, cars would go over it, those panels would crack, and they would have to get constantly replaced, and it just wasn't worth it.
Going over something like that.
It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, it seems logical, especially if you've got trucks and stuff like that driving over the things.
Yeah.
Another thing that makes sense is having waste plastic made it on roads, made out of that, and then make them light so that they don't absorb heat.
Yeah.
So their cities become cool.
And it's also easier to see in the dark too. That's the problem. You can't tell when you're running out of road, I always have to wait for those bumps, that like when you're driving by Braille. So I always know when I'm about ready to leave the road.
Nothing up to sleep.
It's time to wake up again.
And on my birthday in May, I have to renew my license. Thank God we don't have to take the test again, because that would probably be in the test.
Yeah.
You should wake up when you feel what?
Yeah, right.
The tree? The pole?
Honest, the tree just jumped right out in front of me.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's minding my own business when it happens.
Those dogs pee all over those hydrants anyway.
You know, that's what my daughter kept telling me, that curbs kept jumping out of her.
There's a town there in the town we left. Surprise! We have this one road that they made a huge mistake. They had, it was like it was a 4-lane road, and then they cut part of the 1 lane off to make it for carts and bikes and stuff. But they put a 1 foot tall by 1 foot wide curb between the road and this causeway for the bikes. Well, the problem is these old folks, then they turn the corner, they drive their car up on this 1 foot thing, and the car is scraping and there's sparks and everything. And there's all kinds of scrapes and there's tire rubbings and everything else on these things. You can see that people are not used to it being there. And it's actually probably bad to have there now that they've taken and painted huge white areas where the road starts, so that you're supposed to be able to see now, and a sign that says, right or left. It's awful. It was a bad idea.
Someone got paid to do it.
Yep.
All right, everybody, I need to knock off here. So.
All right, Brian Schubing. Yeah, it's coming up on 1 a.m. for me here in Florida.
Oh, let's go.
All right. Well, listen, this was all Ron's idea, so it's Ron's fault. So if it's
yeah, Ron, thanks. Have a good night, guys.
Bud.
Good night.
It's been a while since we've had an extended show, so that was good. Well, I think we definitely we did make history when we did our slightly longer than 5-hour show a couple weeks ago. But when you add 3.5 hours to the first show, to going on 2 hours for this show, we've now done 5.5 hours. Not completely contiguously. There was a small break in between, but still 5.5 hours for one night. I think that's more than anybody needs. So
we'll have another one in 7 months, right?
Yeah. That was a good call, Ron. Yeah. Nice little chats here, just talking about whatever. That was a good thing.
Yeah, we got to fix something live.
We have to fix something on the air, right? So live without a net.
Well, Rainbow Fest is not going to be an all-nighter?
Well, yeah, at CoCo Fest, yeah, usually. Yeah. On Saturday night, they kick us out of the convention center at midnight, but then people are hanging out in the lobby for long after that. So yeah. So
I got to experience my first After Dark tonight too.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's we weren't as edgy as we've been sometimes. So
no.
Get yourself a I Survived After Dark T-shirt.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The upgraded version of the T-shirt.
Yeah. We have a regular After Dark, but I guess we need to get an I Survived After Dark, right? So
more beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks, guys, for hanging out tonight. This was fun. I enjoyed hanging out, just shooting the breeze with everybody. Thank you, Ron Delvaux, for suggesting the extended edition of tonight's show.
Okay.
David O'Connor, great to have you and hang out with you. Bryza, always a pleasure. Any neighbor of Nick is a neighbor of mine. James Diffendaffer, always a pleasure. Richard Lorbieski, occasionally a pleasure. Mark B, always. Ron Delvaux. And I
beg to differ. I'm not always a pleasure. Caused you to rage quit.
Yeah.
Is it Differ Daffer or Diffendaffer?
Yeah. Curtis Boyle was in the live chat.
Jim Brain
was here. Jim left. Probably fell asleep of boredom. Yeah, so we got a CoCo 3 going on the air. Heavy Systems is here. Curtis Boyle. Mikey's been here. He likes it. Heavy Systems. Stu M. That's our friend from the Florida Retro Club. Hey, Stu. And Curtis Boyle and Mikey and Heavy Systems. And Robert Sieg was here earlier. And Paul Fiscarelli was here. I just realized that. Paul just said hi. Take care, guys. Yeah. Paul, you going to make it to CoCo Fest? Let us know. Hopefully you can. All right, we're going to press the button. I'm going to end the live broadcast here in 3, 2, 1. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Everybody.
All right.